Hi and welcome to this video. We are going to talk about multi-line statements and strings. So Python program is basically a text file. We write a text document and that contains physical line of code, and we write our code over multiple lines and use the enter key to move to a new line. The physical line ends with the physical new line character. Now this code passes through the Python compiler and it combines certain lines and make up a logical line of code, and this logical line ends with the logical new line token. Our logical line of code are then tokenized so that the Python interpreter can basically know what our code is trying to do, and then it executes on our computer. There's a difference between physical line character and a logical new line token. So they are not the same thing. Sometimes physical new lines are ignored, and the ignored in order to combine multiple physical lines into a single logical line of code, which is then terminated by logical new line token, and this allows us to write code over multiple lines that technically should be written as a single line. So why we do this? This is just for the readability purpose, and this allows us to make our code more easy to read, and that's really important. So we need to take care about the human readability. That's why it's important to put comments and to format things nicely. So this conversion between physical and logical new line is by removal of physical new line character. It is done either implicitly or explicitly. So first, look at the implicit first. So for implicit, we can use things like expressions, which are like list literals that starts and ends with the square bracket, tuples with the round parentheses, dictionary uses the curly braces, and set also uses a curly braces. And we can also split functions, arguments, and parameter over a multiple line. So let's take a look at this. For example, for this list over here 1, 2, 3, you don't have to write it over a single line. So you could actually break it up over a multiple line, and this physical new line will be implicitly removed by Python. You can also include an inline comments. So at the end of every line after your physical new line character, you can insert a comment that will be stripped out by Python. So it's perfectly legal to do. Same thing with the functions. You do not have to write all your parameters over a single line. You may write over a multiple line, and again it's for readability. You can even insert a comment, so at the end of every line after your physical new line character, you can insert a comment that will be stripped out by Python, and you will end up with the def my function abc, as if you have written that in a single line. So this where the implicit works. Now, sometimes there are cases where we have a long statement and we want to break those up over a multiple physical line as well, but Python will not do implicit removal of our new line character in that case. We have to explicitly specify that we need to break a statement over a multiple line explicitly by using the backslash character. So multiple line statements are not explicitly converted into a single logical line, so we have to use a backslash. So for example, if we want to break up an if statement that has a multiple ands and or, and it gets really complicated, so it might make more sense to break it up over multiple lines in order to understand what the piece of code is doing. So this won't work. So instead, what we do is that we explicit line continuation using the backslash character, and this will work just fine. Other thing is we cannot put in comments after this backslash, or even before them. We can put it right after the colon as well, that's fine, but we cannot make a comment part of a statement, so that won't work. The next thing, we need to look at the multi-string literals. So we can also create a string that spans multiple lines in our physical code, and we do that by using triple delimiter, whether using a single or a double quote delimiter. So we can use a triple single quotes for using multiline strings, and we can do the same thing using a double quotes. So whatever you want to use, now you have to really be aware that just works a little differently. Here the Python is not going to strip out the new line character. So when we print the string out, it will retain this new line character. In fact, it will retain any character that we have typed into that string, whether it will be a new line, whether it be a tab, whether it is a Unicode character. So anything we type is going to be in that string, including multi-spaces and things like that. And so it is important if we are trying to get a string that's formatted for display, and we will see example of that throughout this course. So these are just the regular strings. So we can use escape character if we want, like \n/\t. We can use string formatting. We can also apply the format method, so they are just a normal string. So multi-line strings are not the same thing as comments. They can be used as a comment, and we call them a docstring strings. But the strings and comment are not the same thing. So when Python compiles our code, those strings will be part of our code. They will be compiled and they will be put into our compiled bytecode. However, comments are tossed out, strings are not. So they are different things, not the same. So that's all for this video. Like and share the video, subscribe the channel. See you in next video.